Hi, and welcome to the Freelancer Showcase, hosted by Slice Creative Network and TETV. My name's Melody Matheny, and I'm the founder of Slice. And we're here to talk to some talented freelancers from our network. And today we have Mike Artwell. So welcome, Mike.
Hi, everyone.
All right, Mike, so let's get straight into it. I'd like to know, what disciplines do you work in?
So I am an architect. I graduated with a BFA in interior architecture. So I do a lot of concept renderings, architectural visualization, different design packages and things like that.
Great, and where have you worked in the past?
My last role in this industry was at Universal Creative, and I was there last year serving as the resort development intern. So I got to work on some pretty cool projects related to hotel development, retail development, and things like that.
Wonderful. And I know you're a recent graduate. Where did you go to school?
I graduated this past May from the Cleveland Institute of Art with my BFA in interior architecture.
So that was 2020?
Yes, yep, 2020.
Okay. And what's your current location?
I'm in Central Florida right now.
Okay, great. And if you were offered a job somewhere else outside of Central Florida, would you consider taking a job elsewhere?
Without hesitation, absolutely.
Cool. All right. Well, let's get into it. Let's take a look at your portfolio.
Awesome. Sounds good. All right, everyone. So who am I? I am a storyteller, first and foremost. I'm a fierce proponent in the power of imagination, and I'm a themed attraction designer. So I am a part of the next generation of designers that will create ultra immersive attractions and rides. I'm a storyteller that can convey my design intentions through visual communication. Through my storytelling, I practice architectural, functional, and spatial design. I study many different design processes and sensitivity of knowledge and material specification. And I also am a problem solver. And I am me. So I have 3 projects that I want to share with you today. So the first one is called Rhythmic Realms, where the park is your instrument and it's time for your solo. Do you believe in the power of music? Music is powerful. It makes its own rules. It both transcends time and marks it. Music carries us with our emotions or takes us to new headspaces. It is universal yet distinct. It is widely shared and deeply personal. Music resonates with each of us in different ways, and we want to create a space where the power of music can be realized in a more tangible and impactful way than anywhere else in the world. Introducing Rhythmic Realms, where the park is your instrument and it is time for your solo. So for this fictional project, I was approached by a mystery client to create a theme park on the original site of Six Flags New Orleans. The park has these main prerogatives in mind. It should target a diverse audience and be accessible to all. Our audience is composed primarily of teens and adults, but we are thinking about new and interesting ways to engage with our park over numerous visits while providing many different sources of in-park interactivity. So there should be opportunities to franchise this park outside of just visiting there for a day. And we also wanted to take into account different health and safety measures that are present in a post-COVID-19 environment. So Rhythmic Realms focuses on multi-sensory worlds of musical moods and different genres. So for this project, I was specifically tasked with working on the Spectacle Central land. So I was in charge of creating a cohesive design intention for our park-wide architecture program. In addition, I created the master plans and visual renderings for each of our park's lands. So if you're ready, I would like to show you some spectacle. So live big at Spectacle Central, where you can create a custom playable adventure of your own. Here you can immerse yourself in an uplifting world of sensation and emotion, where musical surprises wait for you around every corner. You can choose a participation level that is comfortable for you. So whether you are somebody who wants to be in the limelight or you want to kind of take a back seat, that is up to you. It's your experience, your way. So as you enter this land, there's 3 different paths that you can take. We have Hip Hop Street, we have a Broadway Street, and we have a Bollywood Street, and they all lead to a central plaza in the middle of the land. So with any good story, it all starts with a sketch. This was my initial ideation for Spectacle Central. You can see that the 3 streets converge in the center for that plaza. And there are also 3 unique attractions that guests would be able to experience in this land. So the first one, this is some ideation for our Bollywood attraction. So if you've never seen a Bollywood film, you will soon experience firsthand what it's like to be in one. This is Layla's Daydream, a comedy adventure. It's a trackless dark ride where guests will experience omnidirectional and smooth movements, just like a dream. You will load into ride vehicles that look like movie theater seats, and then you will make your way into different Bollywood films. So on this slide, this is the central plaza of Spectacle Central where everything kind of converges. We can see that there are 2 other very electrifying attractions in this land. On the left-hand side where the boombox is, we've got Rhythmic Flow, where fictitious superstar DJ Boom and her hip-hop friends challenge you to be the next big star at the underground DJ battle. And then on the right-hand side, we see The Menace of Broadway, a musical thriller. So fearsome of the mysterious menace causing chaos on Broadway, an ensemble of fired-up performers cast you and their plot to put an end to the madness once and for all. Experience a performance like no other as the all-knowing Menace of Broadway thrusts you through their twisted trick track of dazzlingly distorted Broadway numbers in this combination dark ride coaster of screens, screams, and iconic Broadway scenes. So I worked on the Menace of Broadway dark ride and coaster specifically for this project. So we can see here there's this alluring reveal as you get to that central plaza of the Phantom's massive organ pipes with flames erupting out of them each time a ride vehicle bursts out of the building. So this initial ideation eventually turned into this, which is something that's probably a little bit more buildable and practical. But this iconic entry facade leads us into a thrilling production on ride vehicles that look like the boats from Phantom of the Opera that are sailing under the theaters of Broadway. So we load onto the boat and we make our way on stage where we are put under the Menace's spell, and we drop out of the Phantom of the Opera and into his twisted world of manic musical moments. So we might land in Sweeney Todd's barber chair as Miss Lovett pokes us about, and Sweeney Todd sharply appears trying to slice our throats before the chair immediately falls backwards and we tilt into Chicago, where we see the 6 merry murderesses of the Cook County Jail who are all singing to us about how they killed their husbands. And then in our final musical story that I got to work on for this project, we are going to be swept away by our favorite music during Rhythmic Realm's Nighttime Megamix, our dazzling nighttime spectacular. So here we watch music explode with vibrant colors, dazzling special effects, and spectacular performances as 5 music lovers' mixtapes sparkle and soar for all to see around the lagoon, with each land having its own unique view. So here guests are invited to join these 5 lifelong friends as they celebrate their friendships and passion for music and share their meaningful mixtapes for everyone on a mysterious boombox that magically brings their distinct and exciting musical imaginations to life and transport us with mesmerizing manifestations of mood, music, and marvels right before our eyes. It's all about where music can take you. And now I would like to show you the second project that I worked on. All right. So this is where it begins and fear never ends. So at witching hour you will find the evils of this place entwined. For if you seek with half-witted heart, your fate is sealed, you're ripped apart. Beyond these doors, see who reigns supreme. and ghastly worlds to devour your screens. Welcome to Horrorville. Horrorville is a theme park land that exists as a world that feeds on your fears. It's here because you are scared of something, you are scared of it. People love to be scared. It creates a stronger human connection, and this land exploits that. So once again, I started with a sketch. This is how I interpreted the guests entering Horrorville. I was wondering what their first introduction into this world would be like. And as this sketch progressed, it turns into a more fleshed out design where we enter into this massive portal that takes us to another sketch, which was more initial ideation for the layout of the land. So this is a seemingly normal, classic American town square. It's the same kind that exists in everywhere USA, but something is just a little bit off. So this square has the houses of iconic horror properties lining its decrepit streets. The leaves are always in autumn brown and gold. There's a crispy feeling that is palpable in the air. The most important building in this square is the movie palace that sits proudly at the apex of the street. Within this theater sits my land's e-ticket attraction, Pennywise's Nightmare Circus. And here we can see more of those houses lining the street. And then the opposite side, you can see the movie palace on the left corner. And here we are. So aiming to feast on your fear, Pennywise the Dancing Clown drags you through some of cinema's most iconic horror films and stories. From Freddy Krueger's Boiler Room to The Shining's Overlook Hotel, the only thing you'll have to laugh about is the irony that this is no dream, it's a nightmare. So through the sewers underground, guests will ride on giant yellow paper boats as their ride vehicles, similar to the kind that Georgie made in the film It. We might face Michael Myers mask to mask in the famous Haddonfield, Illinois closet where Laurie Strode once fought for her life and the lives of the kids she was babysitting. We will enter the Macroverse in the Derry sewer systems that lead from one horrific scene to another. Or maybe we will ride through Piccadilly Circus in the middle of rush hour when a crazed American werewolf in London stalks your ride vehicle. The interesting thing about this scene is that the animatronic wolf would actually be sort of like a trackless parade float and physically follow and stalk the ride vehicle, and then it would just reset for the next group of guests. And all of this culminates in a climactic final battle with the crazed clown himself, Pennywise. I designed a one-of-a-kind load and unload station for this attraction that took into account guests with wheelchairs and accessibility. I wanted to give them an easy time entering and exiting the ride vehicle, a painless experience, as causing pain is more of a Pennywise thing, and that is not my job. So here we can see a view of the load and unload area. It's a dual path. You can see there are 3 ride vehicles on either side. And I have this alternate load area up in the top left-hand corner that is for accommodating guests in wheelchairs. This would be easy, painless for them to do. I took into account the fact that they would never be taken out of the story. They would never have to go anywhere backstage to access this special ride vehicle. It would be quick and painless for them. They would just wheel in, lock in place, and they would be good to go. When it's time for a guest in this specific part of the ride to dispatch, they would simply just follow in and trail along the rest of the ride vehicles that dispatched from the standard load area. All right, so this is the layout of the attraction. So here we can see where the 3 circles are. This is where we would start our journey. 3 ride vehicles would dispatch together. They would make their way through the sewers and then separate for one of our IP-related movie scenes. So here you might see something like a science fiction film, and then they come back together for another transition scene through the sewers, split up again for another horror property. Maybe this time it's a paranormal film. Come back together, split up again for maybe something like a slasher. We come back together, split up again, and then ultimately this all culminates in a final battle with Pennywise, and we end up defeating him because we are all together and we realize that we are stronger than he is. All right, so the final project that I wanted to share with you is a dreamlike journey through the wildest imagination of a young boy named Milo. So we are going to enter his dream world. So one of the monsters from Milo's dreams stole his dream journal, and it's up to us to get it back. Milo is an ordinary kid with quite the imagination. He keeps a record of his dreams by drawing the characters he meets within a dream journal. Little does he know, these characters are very real. And some feel as though they've been misinterpreted in Milo's drawings in his journal. After two of Milo's dream characters figure out how to cross over into the real world, they steal Milo's dream journal, which falsely depicts them. Milo needs to find his journal before his dreams are gone forever. And he needs your help to enter his dreams to retrieve it. So here we are in suburbia. One particular house seems to be a little bit out of the ordinary with this giant toy mountain in the background, but nonetheless, babysitter's inquiry within, please. So we enter the home, but things start to kind of get stranger and stranger as we move from room to room. We go through multiple pre-shows before going to the load area with different, increasingly wacky conditions and different environments that we see. So once we actually meet Milo, we see that there are dust bunnies from his nightmare land that steal his dream journal right from him. And this is kind of our catalyst to go into the world and get it back. So once we actually board the ride vehicle, which looks like Milo's bed, we launch into his closet, which is a portal that is leading to his dream world that's made out of all these swirling clothes and toys. And as we zigzag through this closet space, we exit to see something quite different than that normal suburban street we saw in the beginning. We see kind of a wasteland of forgotten toys and all of these different things from his nightmares. The mood is definitely very different, and it contrasts what we see in the beginning very nicely. And then ultimately, we come face to face in a climactic battle with the biggest monster in his dream, and we retrieve the journal and come back to reality. So after all is said and done, who am I? I am a storyteller, a fierce proponent in the power of imagination, a themed attraction designer. I am me. So thank you for listening to my story today. And if you want to see more of my portfolio, you can at mikeartwell.com.
All right. Thank you, Mike.
Thank you.
So I love that you're thinking about accessibility, and I love that you're thinking about the operations of the equipment that you're designing. I think that's great. And so I wanted to verify with you, all the concept renderings and 3D work that we saw in that presentation was all yours, right?
Yep, everything, every visual in there was all mine.
Okay, and you clearly enjoy the storytelling part of it as well. Do you also write and create those concepts, or just someone else on your team do that, and then you do all the visuals?
We were able to work hand in hand. Those beautiful words were written by some of my colleagues, but we were able to kind of cultivate that story together, which was very fun. So I'm not a show writer, but I definitely enjoy participating in that process.
Understood. And those were those student projects?
The first project I showed you, Rhythmic Realms, was for the Imagiathon Challenge, which just recently wrapped this past December in 2020. It was a really wonderful opportunity to work with a ton of industry veterans as sort of our mentors on the project, where there were two teams that developed two separate park concepts for the Six Flags New Orleans site. The second project was my senior thesis in my architecture program for my undergraduate degree at the Cleveland Institute of Art. And then the third project was for the Themed Entertainment Creative Workshop Series, which was a few months back in the first half of 2020. It was similar to Imagiathon, where we had a mentor-mentee type of relationship.
Wonderful. All right. Well, you're clearly very passionate about the industry. Do you have any other disciplines or interests that you'd like to share with us?
The biggest thing that I want people to know is that I am trying to be as well-rounded of a designer as I can be. So I'm always up for learning something new that I don't already know, whether that's software, whether that's, physical skills out in the field. I just love exposing myself to anything new that I can. Obviously as a storyteller and somebody who's very passionate about this industry, I think it's my job to be invested and to try to learn these new things, because I really do want to be, I want to play a pivotal role in the next generation of designers. So.
Well, that's wonderful. Good. Well, if people would like to contact you, how can they find out more about you?
Yeah, absolutely. So, like I said, my website with my portfolio is www.mikeartwell.com. My email is martwell98@gmail.com, and I'm also on Instagram as Mike Artwell Design.
All right, great. Well, thank you so much for coming on our show. It was great to see your work and to talk with you a little bit. And for those of you out there watching, if you're interested in connecting with Mike or any other talented freelancers who work in the theme park industry in creative roles, please visit slicecreativenetwork.com. All right, well, thanks for joining us.
Thank you, Melody. Thank you for this opportunity. I'm so excited for everybody to see this, and I can't wait to talk to you again soon.
All right, talk to you soon, Mike.
Bye.
Bye.